The Basement Dwellers podcast is brought to you by Player One Coffee.
At Player One Coffee, we're obsessed with gaming, coffee, and, well, gaming. Every one of our signature roasts is handcrafted and tasty as Get yours at playeronecoffee.com.
Plus, order your Player One Coffee through our affiliate link, and not only will you receive 5% off of your first order, you'll also help support our show in the process.
Press start to continue.
They are those who live in the shadows, who feed upon Doritos and Mountain Dew. They take comfort in their dark habitats as they watch reruns of sci-fi shows long past. They are the Basement Dwellers.
Show me what you got.
So say we all. So say we all. So say we all.
Indeed. Yes. This is a fertile land and we will thrive. We will rule over all this land and we will call it this land.
Make it so.
Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy far from sun.
I want to believe.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Hey nerds, and welcome back to another episode of The Basement Dwellers, a bi-weekly podcast dedicated to all activities most enjoyed by those who spend their time in the deepest, darkest, and dankest of basements everywhere. I'm your host, Wes Tanner, and tonight we're having a board game discussion extravaganza. But first, we're going to hit up some nerdy news, talk about which 70s to 80s era movie or TV show we'd like to see rebooted, and then end the night talking about board games. I'm joined as always by my fellow basement dwellers, Nick, Ron, Lauren, Tracy, Ethan, Drew, and Tucci. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hello. We got a full crew tonight.
Full crew, and we started like exactly on time. It's like exactly 7:30.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were starting, so I tried to talk and then I started.
On time. You were
This,
great.
for everyone listening, this never happens.
It doesn't.
So
Ever. And it probably, I don't know if it will ever again.
You just so we could listen to it.
So I guess we got a lot of nerdy news to hit, so we'll keep this part here brief. But I feel that at least Ethan and I owe the nerd community a warning about the absolute shit show that is Stargate Origins. And this is this is
my god, is it bad?
This is coming from someone who has the Earth point of origin tattooed on his shoulder, but I don't know, I hate myself for having to say that I don't like anything Stargate or don't like something that's Stargate related, but it's bad.
I thought that was a tramp stamp.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Gonna enter Wes's Stargate.
Jesus Christ. All right, yeah.
off to a great start.
Yeah. I'm at a loss for words. Ethan, what do you want to say about it before we move on? You know what, guys? Don't pay for it. Don't
pay for it.
That's my advice.
Those people don't deserve to be paid.
I don't understand how. I don't know.
I hate.
It's like it's a trap, you know. Like,
oh my god.
Honestly, like
I said, the first 2 minutes are great because it's literally a clip from the original movie.
Yeah. Well, each episode is what, like 8 to
10 to 12 minutes long, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
I think they're supposed to be 10, but.
Yeah, but they're varying lengths, but like pretty much as soon as anything starts to happen, it stops.
Do you ever watch anything on public access channel?
No, I haven't had like cable or
Oh,
anything like that.
No. Public access is like where you go into a studio and you pay them $50 and you can put on your show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know where you're going with this.
That's the quality.
Yep.
That's the quality.
It is. It's bad. And it
is low quality. I swear they just photoshopped the CGI of the gate opening and closing from the movie into the show.
Not only that, I mean, I can forgive that. Well, okay, enough talking about that bullshit. On to some nerdy news.
Yeah, that was about as long as an episode.
Now it's time to see what's up in the world of nerdy news.
Okay, so we got a lot of shit to get through with nerdy news. That's been a busy couple weeks, so I'll just go ahead and rapid fire read off a couple headlines, and then we can comment on some of the bigger stuff. So first up, via IGN, the Avengers Infinity War US release date has been moved up a week. Marvel announced on Twitter that the third Avengers film will now be released on April 27th, as opposed to its original planned May 4th release date. So woo!
Can I interject with that one for a second? Hasbro made a Infinity Gauntlet, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay. Oh, I remember you posting about that. Next up, via Game Rant, Bethesda's E3 2018 showcase date and time has been revealed. Fans of the publisher and developer would do well to mark their calendars for June 10th, 2018, in preparation of the company's 6:30 Pacific Standard Time address on the Sunday ahead of E3 2018. That's about all there is to that news. Looking forward to that. Next up, in shit that sucks, via Polygon, the $1.4 million Robotech Kickstarter is an absolute disaster. The Kickstarter campaign for Robotech RPG Tactics, a tabletop miniatures game that was successfully funded in 2013, is a failure. Role-playing game maker Palladium Books said that this week they are unable to complete the full range of products promised to backers 5 years ago. Furthermore, Palladium president Kevin, CM Bieda, their president Kevin, announced that after holding the license for Robotech in the US for more than 30 years, his company is now unable to renew that license with its owner, Harmony Gold. So they basically ran out of time. Now on to some more shit that is failing news via Inverse. The Szechuan sauce return to McDonald's is off to a rocky start. On Monday, after almost 4 months of quiet apologies from McDonald's, the fast food chain re-released Szechuan sauce to the world. This came after weeks of rumors and an official announcement via their McDonald's podcast last week, I guess. 20 million cups were distributed around the country with the promise that every single restaurant would have enough of the sauce while supplies last. While the rollout of this new wave of sauce is nowhere near as disastrous as what happened back in October, this new attempt still feels mismanaged. By lunchtime on Monday after the release, some high-volume McDonald's were already sold out, and in many cases, whether or not the sauce was in stock, employees had no clue about the promotion.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Love
so
when that happens.
We reported on that, I think, on our first show, right? So I figured we had to we had to go over that again. Or, new news, I guess.
I did tell you guys, my son works at McDonald's, and in the first day it was released, he had 14 packets of it. He ate himself.
Yeah.
Dude, he could have got a car.
Yeah, he could have.
That's my boy.
What is he thinking? Well, no, because they're different packaging, so I don't think it's worth as much.
Yeah. Moving on to stupid bitch-ass internet folks news. Via comicbook.com, Netflix earns backlash over... Oh, there, I just typed it wrong. Netflix earns backlash over Jared Leto's Yakuza movie, The Outsider. Seriously, guys, this one we're not going to spend that much time on. Here's the gist of it. The internet is butthurt over the fact that Jared Leto is white and joining the Yakuza in his new movie. They think that the role of the outsider should go to someone of Asian descent instead, when the entire movie's premise is based on someone who should not be in the Yakuza joining the Yakuza. So...
Yeah, what part of outsider don't we understand?
I don't know. But moving on to some sure why not news via Den of Geek, the ESRB plans to add warning labels to games that contain microtransactions. Not only will games with performance-boosting microtransactions receive the additional warning, but it will be affixed to any game that features, quote, the ability to purchase digital goods or premiums with real-world currency. That applies to games that offer things like character skins and loot boxes, but it also seems to apply to titles that offer traditional DLC content and expansions. Basically, if you can spend money in or on the game after the initial purchase, it gets the in-game purchases label. I mean,
so like every game ever now?
Yeah,
Like...
I guess. That's why, yeah.
Warning, or just stop doing it.
Yeah, like, sure, why not, I guess. Here's another quick headline. Now on to some cool news via comicbook.com again. Jason Momoa's The Crow remake, speaking of remakes, lands a 2019 release date. According to THR, the Momoa starring remake of The Crow, titled The Crow Reborn, will open on October 11th, 2019. Nick, that's close to your birthday, isn't it? That's like the day after your birthday.
The only negative thing I have to say about it is he's so beefy. Like, I was thinking the same thing. Fucking beefcake.
No cachetic little goth boy. What the hell?
Like Brandon Lee was. I mean, he was muscly, but like
so beefy.
I don't know.
Also, they keep showing him with pictures with his beard, and I really hope he doesn't have the beard.
Oh yeah,
would be weird. Weird beard.
I don't know. That's my only complaint.
Yeah, no, I hear ya. Now for some, hey, our show tonight is about stuff like this. Via All Things D&D, new Dungeons & Dragons board game is announced. It will tie into an unannounced adventure. Gale Force 9 is presently promoting a new cooperative board game which is totally based on an upcoming Dungeons & Dragons adventure. The game has been scheduled to come in August later this year. Gale Force 9 stated at the New York Toy Fair that this new board game will have a $50 price point and can be played with 2 to 4 players. Nick, have you heard anything about that? Or anybody, I guess, but...
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Which is weird because, like, the other D&D board games are fantastic.
Yeah.
So...
Well,
here's to hoping.
Yeah, let's
Gale Force 9...
Eberron.
Gale Force 9 did the, Firefly board games, which is what Drew has, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
45 minutes to set up, 20 minutes to play if somebody's good.
Oh, God, no. Oh, fuck no, dude.
More like
play
6
that game,
hours
you
to
need
play.
like 7 hours to play.
Yeah, except that one night we played it and somebody stomped through it in 20 minutes and the rest of us were like, oh. But that's for later in the episode.
Yeah. Now on to some upcoming movie news via comicbook.com. You know what? I just realized that like half my articles are from comicbook.com. So more comicbook.com news. Fox is planning 3 X-Men movies a year in both 2019 and 2020. That's 6 movies total. One of the 2019 films is already confirmed to be New Mutants, which was supposed to be released this year but was pushed back in order to accommodate reshoots. As far as the other 5 films go, there hasn't been anything concrete announced, but Fox does have a number of projects that have either been announced or in some stage of development, which is kind of weird because, you know, they were, you know, they're in the middle of that deal with Disney, and once that goes through, all the X-Men stuff goes over to Marvel, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're probably just trying to like get as much shit out as possible before that happens, maybe? I don't know.
We'll put this all in so it's under contract. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. On to some really fucking awesome news again via comicbook.com. Our Netflix's new The Witcher TV series pilot episode script is complete. TV writer and producer Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich recently posted an update to social media hinting that the pilot script has been completed for the series chronicling the exploits of Geralt of Rivia, bringing the high-concept fantasy series one step closer to the streaming service. I cannot fucking wait. And here we go. Last but not least, in I'm surprised but not surprised, but it's still cool news via Daily Dot. Get this, Atari is releasing its first console in more than 20 years. Following the seismic response to Nintendo's release of miniaturized versions of its classic NES and SNES consoles, another retro gaming darling is making moves to get in on the action. Atari has announced in an online newsletter new details about the Atari Box, a new product in development. They started teasing the new product at this year's E3 Gaming Industry Convention, but very few details were announced until the newsletter revealed photos of the system with just enough detail to get old school gaming fans excited. The photos reveal a system.
It looks pretty.
It does look pretty. The photos reveal a system inspired by a classic Atari design with an elegant flow of ribbed lines and a raised back. Quote, "Our objective is to create a new product that stays true to our heritage while appealing to both old and new fans of Atari." That was from the Atari project team. The new system will come in two designs, a sleek wooden model or a black and red version. Not many details have been released, but the team promises that both editions will have HDMI and SD ports, along with 4 USB ports. The ports, the team explains, indicate modern internal specs. So while retro gaming fans can enjoy the titles they grew up on, the new model will also deliver modern gaming content. The new design introduces the possibility of new Atari games or even third-party titles. They just don't have any answers to the questions yet. Everything's speculative, but Atari has promised to keep fans updated.
Neat.
Oh, so are they gonna like bring back like games like Pitfall and like Space Invaders and stuff?
By the sounds of it, it's probably going to have old games like built into it, maybe, but it's going to be able to play brand new games as well.
Yeah,
I love classic games.
The raspberry thing.
That's going to be awesome.
Dude, yeah, I don't care how many felonies we have to commit. We have to have one of these.
Yeah. Well,
at
at first I thought they were going to say that they were going to like release like a mini version, and I was going to be really disappointed. But this is like a full-on new console. So
that's awesome, though.
Yeah. So
maybe it'll prompt Sega to come back.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh
the
my God.
Dreamcast 2.
So with that, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and take our first commercial break, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about some old school movies that we'd like to see rebooted. So stick with us, and we will return shortly.
Hey, you nerd! Have you subscribed to the show yet? Now you can find the Basement Dwellers podcast on the following platforms: iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, and SoundCloud. Also, make sure to like our Facebook page where you can stay up to date on all the things. And now, back to the show.
And we're back, and we are moving on to our first discussion topic of the evening. One of our people in Discord, I don't know, one of our friends, I guess is the best way to describe them. Someone in our Discord suggested that we do 80s movies that we'd like to see rebooted, and it sounded like a good idea, so we're gonna run with that. Ron, you said you wanted to go first. What movie do you want to see rebooted from the 70s to 80s era?
Yeah, I'll go first. This is something that Nick and I have brought up several times, and I'm sure Wes still hasn't seen it yet.
Oh God, Monster Squad.
Monster Squad.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's not what I was going to pick, but goddamn, that's a good one. Yeah.
I would like to see Monster Squad rebooted. One,
yeah.
I still want to see practical effects because Monster Squad was brilliant.
Fuck yeah.
But if we brought the actors from Stranger Things and It, oh my God. Right?
I'm not triggered at all by this.
Nick was very hesitant to come into this section because
for some reason too, I also see Michael Fassbender as Dracula.
Oh,
like as soon as you said 80s movies, I thought about that, and I thought Michael Fassbender as Dracula character.
What's funny is that like I talked about that quite a bit. Like, what was it, the second episode?
It was our Halloween. Yeah, it would have been the second one.
Halloween.
Yeah. So I didn't even think. Wow, yeah, that's a good one, dude. Like,
yeah,
I support that decision. I would love to see.
I knew it was going to be 50-50. Like, either you were going to hate me for it or love me for it.
No. I support your decision. Let's talk about Monster Squad like the entire night now.
Yeah. Ron, did you have another one? Or are we gonna let it ride with that one for now?
No, that was it.
That was it. Okay. Yeah.
That was all I really did. I kind of hedged all my bets on Monster Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Let's see here. Lauren, how about you? Let's go to you.
Well, I kind of thought of 3, but you guys would really make fun of me for 1, so I'll just leave it out.
No,
I was gonna say
no, that's the one you have to say.
That's the one we want you to say.
That's the one that's from 1968. So it doesn't really fall into
bending
the
the rules
70s
a
and
bit.
80s.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But that one was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I have no comment, really. I don't. I mean, okay, sure.
I don't disagree with that. I would like to see a remake of that. Yeah.
I feel like Nick agrees with me on these things, like Roseanne reboot and all this other weird shit. But okay.
With the Bang Bang remake.
And then secondly, one that I would be really excited to see, and I'd be pissed off if they ruined it, would be Harold and Maude.
Okay.
Ooh.
I would love a remake of that.
But they would so have to do that shit right.
Yeah.
Like 100% right.
Mm-hmm. And then,
although with some of the movies I've seen recently, I think they could.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a difficult time with remakes. Like, if I would actually, I don't watch a lot of them because I don't want it to be ruined for me, like the magic.
Well, let's go about it this way. If this changes anybody's mind, like, think about, we can add in like the actors or the actresses that you want to see, that you would want to see take up the different roles, and you can also, given the perfect scenario, because we all know that there's not really a good history of reboots. So,
my homework assignment didn't go that far, so
no, I know,
right?
Yeah, I'm just saying off the top of your head, if it makes a difference.
If you're talking about Harold and Maude, there's that new Netflix show, The End of the Fucking World. That kid that was in that, he would be great as Harold.
Would be great. I do think he would be great. As far as like Maude, I don't know that many old actresses. Sorry, old people. But
oh, come on, Betty White.
Betty White would not be a good Maude.
Love her, but yeah.
No, probably not, but still.
Like, I love Betty White, don't get me wrong, but she's like 98 years old, and she would just not, she's too happy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, she could be really energetic and, probably do it, but I don't see her as a Maude.
Okay. Did you have another one too?
Kind of, but I mean, this is, I guess, would be up for debate if it's been remade or not, because there's been so many sequels, like shitty ones, kind of. But Gremlins.
Ooh.
I actually looked at that one earlier. Yeah.
I think with all like the new like CGI shit, it could be done kind of all right.
Fun, yeah.
Although I feel like the cheesiness of the puppets, though, kind of is what added.
Yeah.
It does.
Movie,
that's kind of what makes it. Yeah.
I agree with Tracy. The puppets made it.
It would have to be made again cheesy on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally cheese-tastic.
With like just and puppets and stuff.
Either that, or they go like full circle and make it into an actual horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Really
like if they
fucking dark.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, that was
just
like
kind of like the scene movies are doing these days is going really dark.
Like the Evil Dead remake, or
that's what
God, yeah.
That one really fucking dark, and that was great.
I could get down with that.
Yeah, but that's all I got.
All right. Tracy, how about you? Do you have anything you want to see remade?
Yeah, they're not from the 60s and 70s. They're a little bit older, and this is probably kind of, you guys are going to go like, what?
We'll accept.
But I would like to see The Pit and the Pendulum, if anybody knows or remembers that movie.
I know the story.
I had to watch it in high school.
I know the story, but I don't know the movie.
Full Bush. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know a good actor, though, off the top of my head that could play Vincent Price's character. Because he really, he kind of really had his own, sense there going, and he had his own thing. Vincent Price was like, I don't know, I consider him like one of the original like gods of horror.
I'm trying to think like who could pull it off, but I'm trying to think of people who look like Vincent Price, and I'm still drawing a blank. So,
well, besides Salvador Dali, but he's like dead. So
yeah, no, somebody alive, preferably.
Yeah.
Well,
as long as
I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah,
we'll go Tim Burton on this and put Johnny Depp.
Yeah. That would probably be what it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Let's get the guy that plays Sheldon. That'd be fun.
No.
Did you see him being evil? That'd be
No.
great.
I don't think he could go dark enough, though.
I don't think he could either.
We could cast him in Phantasm, too.
As long as they don't get like Vince Vaughn or something, because when they cast him in Psycho, it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, he was not a good Norman Bates at all.
That was horrible. But they probably would. They'd be like, here you go, Vince Vaughn. That would be like Betty White being Maude. Like, it just doesn't.
All right. Drew, let's go on to you, buddy.
Huh. Well, I have you guys ever seen They Live?
Yeah.
Wait. Which one?
Ray-Bans.
Which one is
But
that?
what wrestler are you going to get to do it this time?
Well, obviously, it's going to have to be like John Cena. Because he does all the reboots and wrestling
Actually,
movies.
that would work, I think.
No, hold on. They Live. Which one is that?
Yep.
The one with the sunglasses, man.
Roddy Piper finds sunglasses that lets him see the aliens that have invaded the Earth and taken over here.
Okay. I was
That fucking quote was like famous.
I was thinking of a different
It's Roddy
there.
Piper, man.
Yes,
He's
you
come
are.
here to kick
I
ass
think I
and
was
chew
thinking of a
bubblegum, and he's
different
all out
movie,
of
too.
bubblegum.
That fucking movie's so good.
It's the best. I love that movie.
Same.
And
I think we just watched that like a couple months ago.
We did.
I think another cool reboot would be Highlander.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Like,
hold on though. Oh, okay. Well, no. Reboot. Yeah, that's completely shit, man. We just last show was it that we announced that I guess we parroted the fact that they're fucking rebooting Transformers again, right? That was last show.
Yeah, not reboot, please.
Yeah.
Not Spider-Man, not Transformers.
Well, I'm thinking that because I'm thinking that. Damn it, Drew! What did you just say? What movie?
Highlander. It was never rebooted.
It wasn't.
No,
it was a TV show with what's Adrian
that was
Paul or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
For like ever.
And then it was like 32 movies.
Yeah.
But it never got like
Sharknado?
rebooted or
Chris
reestablished.
Lambert, right? Chris Lambert, is that his name?
Oh,
I think so.
yeah.
He was in the movie, and then the TV show is
With
different.
Sean Connery,
people.
but I want to see Highlander with like Liam Neeson.
Oh.
Wasn't he
Liam
No,
Neeson
he
is-
wasn't in Highlander.
No, he was Rob Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I got
right.
the movies confused.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I think they should like throw the guy that played Ragnar Lothbrok
Ooh.
in it
Oh.
too.
Oh shit.
Just
He would be
because.
really good in that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's freaking Ragnar, man.
Yeah.
I can't remember his real name. Is it Travis Fimmel?
Yeah.
Travis
Yeah.
Fimmel, yeah.
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 Yeah, he's a babe.
Yeah, but I don't think him and Charlie Hunnam are two different people.
I
No,
know.
they're the same person.
No, they're the same
I swear
guy.
to God.
Exactly the same.
Drew, any other ones?
No, those are like the two I thought of.
Okay. Let's see here. Tucci, we're on to you, man.
Oh boy. All right. So I actually had to like do some research and like find movies that I've actually seen from like 70s and 80s
Because you weren't born.
because I wasn't alive
you
until
fucking
1991. So
He's just a baby.
Did you say 1981?
1991.
Oh my god.
Let's redo Halloween Town.
Actually,
Hey, yeah.
I swear I'm just joking. That was from the 1990s. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Yeah, it was made for TV Disney movie. It was great.
Hell yeah. So
Not as good as Smart House, though.
Like yesterday.
All right, Tucci,
Smart
let's
House
hear it,
was
man.
actually pretty good.
Smart House
Anyways-
was so good. Okay,
Anyways,
anyway.
so Big
Oh.
with Tom Hanks in it.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love to see a remake of that fucking movie, dude.
Huh.
I think it would be great to see like a modern
Shimmy,
era.
shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, rah.
Yeah, man.
I
No,
love-
no,
who would play
that's,
Tom
that's fine.
Hanks?
Who would, dude? You know,
Dude, his
I was
son,
thinking that.
Colin
Maybe.
Hanks.
Oh shit.
Really?
No.
You don't
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he
like
could.
you don't like
You know who
Colin
looks
Hanks?
like a young Tom Hanks?
Oh, I thought you said Tom Hanks.
No. No, he's awful.
Oh.
Fucking Steven Crowder. I know a lot of people are like,
oh yeah,
kinda iffy about him, but he looks just like fucking Tom Hanks.
He could pull it off too, the humor and everything.
I think he could. I think he could. Yeah. But anyways, my second movie that I was thinking, this is the one that's probably going to draw some controversy, is the Godfather series. I would like to see a modern reboot of that. I think it would be cool. And that's not to say that like I don't like the Godfather movies, because I do. I watched all 3 of them in one day because people were bitching at me that I had to see them a while back.
Just watch Sopranos.
Would you want a modern remake of them in the same time frame that they originally took place, or in the present time?
Yeah, is it going to be classic gangsters or gangbangers?
I'd be fine with still staying classic, gangsters.
Like, so a modern movie, but takes place back in the 70s.
Actually, Lauren's right. You just watch.
Or what's that, in the 40s?
Yeah, just watch The Sopranos, because Sopranos is great.
But that's a show. And
you don't get an ending to The Sopranos. You get a black screen.
Yeah, basically. So, The Sopranos is okay. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see a reboot of that, and then also a show from the 70s and 80s that I thought of last second here is MASH.
Oh God!
I grew up watching that with my stepfather.
Would not watch.
You wouldn't watch that?
010 would not watch.
Why?
Oh, really? Come on, MASH is great.
Yeah, that's got some of the best fucking.
Well, early MASH is great. Like the first couple seasons, and then
don't know if a remake would have the same effect.
I don't feel like it would translate well with your audience.
Well, audiences are dumb, so.
You're dumb, 2G.
Maybe, I mean, I feel like if they redid MASH, it would be something with like in the new age, like.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. See
I would,
where that
yeah, and then that would be like -10 would not watch.
Well, that's really lame.
Damn.
Wow.
So we're not watching that one together.
I'm sure.
Fucking harsh Lauren is
I'll
harsh.
watch it by myself, Lauren. I don't need you for everything.
That's fine.
Are we having a dispute? Like,
This
is our
lovers quarrel.
Couples fight. Yeah.
The showmance is the showmance is rocky right now.
Yeah.
I need you, Lauren.
So we can not watch MASH together.
Jerry.
Ethan, what about you, man?
Those are my 3.
Well, one of the ones I thought of was Crawl.
From the 80s, Ethan, not the 60s. Come on.
You know what? Go fuck yourself, Nick. I'd like to see the invention of the stone wheel rebooted. Fuck you.
They did that. It's
I'd like to reinvent fire.
Crawl did have Liam Neeson, right?
Anyways, yeah, Crawl.
Crawl's awesome.
Which one is
Crawl
that?
was awesome. That's the one with that giant fucking starfish throwing star thing.
Yeah, he had the glaive. Yeah, that was fucking dope.
Yeah.
Wes, you haven't seen Crawl?
Oh, crawl. I thought you said crawl, like as in like baby crawl on the ground.
Like get down on your knees and no. You fucking weirdo.
No, crawl.
Wait, what
I know
did
my
you say?
internet
I
sucks.
thought you said crawl too.
No, it's KRULL.
Crawl.
I got you.
ULL. Yeah.
Old school fantasy.
There we go.
Yep. I got you.
Google that.
Yeah, it's like fantasy sci-fi. That movie's fucking awesome.
That is pretty good.
Yes. And playing off of Lauren's Gremlins there, I think it might be fun to see Chud remade.
I have never seen that.
Even more brutal and darker.
Chud.
Motherfucking chuds.
I feel like that's a derogatory term.
Baby.
You're a
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Of course it's an acronym.
Is that a B movie?
Of course it is.
I don't mean it. Okay, all right.
Listen, B movies are the best.
The remake will be.
I also want to see the Pirates of Darkwater cartoon made into something viable.
Yes, God, yes.
There we go. Finally some support.
I can't wrap my head around Chud, man.
Oh, go watch Chud.
I will. I'll have to.
Shove and crawl. Okay.
No, Chud and fucking Monster Squad.
Crawling and chubby and
Add
something.
Monster Squad, Wes.
Yeah.
We know you haven't seen it yet.
Well, I know. I know I haven't seen it yet either. And I've had since last, October?
And I know our dearly not ever showing up friend decided to bring up The Last Starfighter in his Steam post.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to decide if that would be a good remake or not, because it was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's questionably on my list.
Nick, what about you, man? Got you, and then I guess I got a couple to toss in there.
I came up with 3 in this time period. 2 of them I might catch shit for. The third one, I don't think I will. So, one of my favorite movies of all time is Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay. Is that Kurt Russell?
Great movie.
Yes, it is. I fucking love that movie. Kurt Russell is outstanding. It's funny. It's action-packed. It's kind of weird. It's really weird. I feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
you would need Kurt Russell in it again, but
almost yeah.
You could also like do without him as well. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, he could be in it, but he could not be Jack Burton.
Right? He could be like a cameo. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that one I was gonna catch a lot more shit for it, but I love that movie. I feel like
only because it's questionable whether it should be remade. Yeah,
right. That's I'm kind of teetering on the fence. I'm not sure if it should or not. Number 2, would be, I don't know if all of you guys have seen this or not, but The Beastmaster.
Oh
God, yes! Remake the fuck out of that.
Ferrets?
I love The Beastmaster. The fucking ferrets, the tiger, the hawk.
All the time.
I know, it was so good.
Oh shit, that makes me want to add another one.
So The Beastmaster was like just an outstanding movie. And the last one, gotta love me some Jean-Claude Van Damme. Bloodsport.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I could do with it.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
A lot of his movies could do with a reboot.
Yep.
Yeah. But
I
again,
feel like
bring him back in the mix. Oh yeah, for sure.
Who would you bring in though?
The splits in like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
He would just be himself. He played the same role.
Oh Lord.
Doing the splits everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess that's better than trying to bring Steven Seagal back to do anything.
Oh my God.
Oh no, that's awesome. I love fat old fake goatee looking Steven Seagal. Way off topic.
You guys remember the
videos of him like
Steven Seagal should reboot Taken. Oh.
What's that, Drew?
Have you guys seen the videos of him like teaching karate to people and like the police and stuff?
Yeah.
And it's just so slow and pathetic, and all you can do is laugh because he thinks he's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Punch.
And then I flip him over my shoulder.
So, Nick, you saying Beastmaster actually made me also want Dragon Slayer rebooted.
I was just trying to think of that name. God damn it.
Dragon Slayer would be
Let's see here. Oh, I just added one to my list here. But I was going to say with Steven Seagal, like the last thing I remember him being in that I liked was you guys watch the Onion movie?
Oh, Cock Puncher.
The Cock Puncher? Yeah.
I don't think you have the balls.
Yeah. All right. Nick, any other ones?
That's it for me, actually.
Okay.
I'd really love to see Big Trouble in Little China and Monsters with Shit. I fucking love that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, man, is it good. That's a great 80s movie.
You know who
and it
you're
needs a
talking
remake
to.
bad. Wes, you're killing me.
I know.
It's okay, Wes. I haven't seen it either.
Oh.
You
you just kept silent while they were giving me shit then, huh?
Nope.
The Wolf
haven't
has
seen it.
nards.
What?
Wolfman's
got nards.
Oh Jesus. All right, so I got a couple. One that I just added, but for me, I think one that's not obscure, but we're probably gonna might surprise you. But Never Ending Story.
No.
No.
Sure thing.
I'm not
Can't do it.
with you, actually.
Can't remake that.
I think you could. What's that?
You gotta fight the sadness!
Oh God.
I think you could totally make Atreyu not a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
His horse was being taken over by this dead. He was not whiny.
Now hold on. Okay.
Very emotional moment.
Kid.
Is the hate for it just because it's too sad to do over again, or?
Oh no, I love that fucking movie.
You can't make that any better.
I can hate things I love. Fuck you.
I think that's another one that would be kind of ruined. Like, you know, talking about like Gremlins would probably be ruined a little bit by if it was remade. Like, I think. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like, I think if they remade the Neverending Story, it would kind of lose its little core. You know? Yeah, its charm.
But if you don't remake it, it will have ended.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I mean, they already had a shitty sequel, so
get out.
Oh god. This is going well.
I actually don't. I agree with Wes. I think that'd be a good one. I mean, they made 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember the second one.
I wouldn't watch that either.
I don't know if it necessarily needs like a remake, but I feel like another one would be good.
Well, like a reboot, like a, you know, we're talking reboot, not necessarily remakes. You know what I mean? Like it could
or reimagine.
Yeah,
is what they call them.
You know, I mean, remake, reboot. I guess we're kind of using those terms interchangeably.
But I mean, the second one was bad.
But just imagine, like what he gets to the
second one was Highlander 2. It didn't happen.
Oh yeah. But you know, I can just see that being another kind of maybe a kids movie, but you know, adults would appreciate the fuck out of it too. But...
I just came up with another one on the fly.
Yeah.
Enemy Mine.
I don't know that one.
Oh, the one with the
Dennis
the
Quaid
alien and they had the baby.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid is on like an alien planet, and he like this alien, and I don't know, this alien ends up like giving birth to itself. It's really weird. But like, and then Dennis Quaid has to like take care of the alien baby. It's a fucking good movie.
I have a couple. Oh, sorry. I was gonna wait till the end because I know Wes is still going, but like, I have a couple more too.
Okay.
Just to say.
Well,
now fuck him.
Wes, you can end.
Yeah. No, we'll. All right. Well, if you're giving me shit for that one, you're probably going to give me shit for this one too. But I really would love to see this one remade. But it would have to be like, I don't know, like it would have to be perfect. But Jaws.
You say Labyrinth?
Top Gun.
I was gonna say.
I'm gonna punch him right in the throat.
Jaws.
I said Jaws. Jaws. Yep. The movie Jaws.
They remake Jaws. It's called Sharknado.
No, no. And
Yeah,
like I
there's been,
said,
like 9 of them.
no, like I said,
Like
I said, they've made plenty of shark movies, but
yeah, they're all called Jaws.
no. God damn it.
4 of them.
No,
there's like 4 Jaws movies.
Oh, I know.
No, they like moved on to making like other big scary animals, like Anaconda with Angelina Jolie, which should just be a porn at that point. But
Ice Cube.
Was she in that?
What?
Was that the one with her, or was that what was the one?
No,
I think that Lake Placid.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
No, neither one of those have Angelina Jolie in them.
I was gonna say Jennifer Lopez was in Anaconda, but
oh,
Yeah.
I guess it was Jennifer. I don't like Jennifer Lopez.
Angelina
either, but...
Jolie's dad was in Anaconda. John Voight.
Yeah.
Who was in Lake Placid?
That was
none of those.
Giant
Bill
alligator.
Pullman and
people.
Yeah, people.
Do you think that there's like a spoof porn called Lake Placid?
Probably.
Well, that'd be the worst.
I hope so.
What can you do with a flaccid dick?
I'm gonna Google that right now.
This isn't health class, but
All right.
Work. All right, off topic.
Well, I'll say yeah. Okay, mine are a bust. So, Lauren, you said you had extra ones.
These are not all of us. You have a bigger list, so go on.
I only have one more, and
okay.
Yeah.
And it's Labyrinth, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's Willow.
Fuck you. Fuck you. No.
Wes is getting so much hate.
I know.
He didn't die.
No, you assholes don't understand that this is a reboot, not necessarily a remake. Like,
No, you
you
don't
know
touch
what I mean?
Willow.
Well, no,
I was
reboot.
jokingly
Reboot.
I was jokingly gonna say earlier that we should just give Wes shit on every single one of his. I didn't actually say anything.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't going to give
you could
any
pull a
shit.
Blade Runner and do a 30-year later sequel.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't give you too much shit for that.
About that.
But don't reboot it. Don't.
I wasn't gonna give you any shit about that, but I'm gonna have to side with Ron on this. Fuck you.
All right. So with
I
that,
love me some Willow, bro.
thanks, Joe, out
drunk.
there.
And
Once
when
you're
you are
listening
drunk,
to
you
this
forget
later
that I'm in
on,
charge.
thanks, Joe, for making us sit here and do a section about people basically hating me. So,
Thanks, Joe.
Matt Mardigan pretty much made that movie.
yeah, we're going to take our second commercial break, and then when we get back, we're going to launch into our main discussion topic, which I will be mostly silent for, so thank you. We're going to talk about board games, so we'll be right back.
Do you like role-playing games? How about podcasts? How about a podcast about a role-playing game? Check out our friends at Tomorrow's End, a podcast that follows a role-playing group as they navigate through a post-apocalyptic wasteland. All right, enough fucking words. Here's the trailer.
How did humanity get here? I just can't remember. The rest of the world didn't know why the end had come. They'd heard on the radio about an attack on the States by either Russia or China over dwindling resources. What we knew was that the world was going to end, and a crazy man named Morrow had a plan to save the world. Many teams were frozen in vaults deep underground, safely tucked away from all the bombs and nukes flying, and the asteroid that would finally end everything. They were supposed to wake up 25 years later and help pick up the pieces, but something went wrong, and everyone woke up a lot later, if they woke up at all. Cultists, criminals, madmen, they've been living and thriving through the radiation and destruction the entire time. Some good people also survived. They held on to hope by spreading stories about tomorrow's end.
And we're back again, and this time we are going to be talking about board games. So
diabetes.
Nick has a plate full of snacks.
It just completely derailed.
It did, but it's okay.
Drew's is mad because he has diabetes.
Yeah, and he can't drink during the shows because he's got to work afterwards.
Yeah.
You gotta take the night off for the last episode, Drew.
Yeah.
I got 4 vacation days left till August. That's not gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, board games.
I think they should remake a Willow board game.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
I learned my lesson, okay? I learned my lesson. Leave me alone.
All right, we're gonna get on track, finally.
Just remake Legend while we're at it.
I'll mute myself, guys.
I'm not even gonna say that might have been one of my picks too, so
No, blasphemy. No.
yeah. So what, for those of you guys who play board games, and to clarify to those listening, we're not just talking about like Sorry and
Monopoly,
Chutes and Ladders and shit like that. No, we're talking about like in-depth, like nerdy shit. So
Small madness.
Yeah, we're hardcore, man.
Hardcore board game extravaganza.
Hardcore.
Yeah. So what is so enticing about board games over other types of games?
I think it's the nostalgia, really. For me personally, it brings me back to my childhood. I mean, board games are right now in their quote unquote golden age.
Yeah.
They're making a huge comeback.
Yeah. I noticed that too.
But for me, it's the nostalgia, really, because I remember when I was a kid, you know, when I was very little, just playing Monopoly or Sorry or games like that. And so sitting around a table with my friends or family and being able to see their interactions or seeing their facial expressions playing it's different from playing video games. You know, I can see when somebody's upset or when somebody's like on a roll, you know. So there's a lot of different variables, but I think the nostalgia factor is the big one for me.
Oh, exactly. And like when the rest of your family like picks one family member to like gang up on, like for the rest of the night, or is that just my family?
That's like
they usually target you.
It always is me too.
So in a way, board games have kind of like evolved with us from childhood into adulthood, because I don't remember anything like what is out now, like the kind of games that when we have gotten together and played, like that shit wasn't around when I was a kid, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know exactly, but
I was gonna say, to be fair, I think there were some really heavy, in-depth board games back then, but they were
just weren't
harder
playing
to
them.
find.
Well, Settlers of Catan has been around.
Catan and Carcassonne have been around forever. But there was also like there was a bunch of old military games that were like no worse than Risk.
Yeah.
Like really in depth, like 7-hour games,
like Axis and Allies.
Oh, yeah, Axis and Allies.
Axis and Allies. Actually, I think there were a couple of, because there was like wasn't there like Panzer something?
Yeah, yep.
It was an old German tank commander game and
I think you
shit like that. But they were around, but they were more expensive, and they were more of a hobbyist thing than they were a casual family game.
Yeah.
I mean, Axis and Allies is a good example. Like that's been around for a while, and that's a very heavy game.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes it takes like 30 minutes to set up. It's great.
Yeah, way more difficult to teach a child than like, don't wake daddy, ants in my pants. Whatever.
Yeah. I'll say I think my first board game experience that really got me into board games was with like Mousetrap and
I love Mousetrap.
Oh yeah.
Also,
like, like the big interactive games. Like, yep. And then they had one called Grape Escape with like Play-Doh.
Oh yeah.
It was basically like Mousetrap, except you got to like basically like maim and murder the grapes that you made out of clay or Play-Doh. So like
I used to have this game called Tornado Rex. And it was basically like a Tasmanian devil who would go down the side of this mountain. And it was just this ridiculous game.
Too.
Yeah, and I'm kicking myself now because I looked up the price on that game now, and it's like just a ridiculous amount of money.
I wonder if it's in my basement.
Oh, that'd be great.
Sell that shit on eBay.
Fuck no.
Like me with that damn Dungeon Quest or whatever the hell it was.
Cricket. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was... Sorry, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. Nobody ever does.
I know what you're talking about, Ethan.
Yeah.
I know you do.
So, next question. Here's one for everyone. What is everyone's favorite board game?
Carcassonne.
Carcassonne
is pretty fucking awesome.
It's like, dude, it's like cardboard.
Ethan, what about you, man?
Carcassonne's on the top of my list, but right now I'm geeking over freaking Zombicide.
Oh, I have played Zombicide.
That was
I like
so
that one.
fun.
Ron, what about you, man?
Yeah, I would have actually probably agreed with Ethan and said Zombicide or Arkham Horror.
Oh, yeah. That's probably one of my favorite ones that I've played. I haven't played many, only what you guys have shown me, so I'm going to be kind of useless in this. Drew, what about you, man? You got a lot of board games.
Oh, man. It's tied between two. It's Pandemic and the Firefly board game.
I love Pandemic.
I love Pandemic too.
Is great.
Pandemic is great because it's all strategy and working together and fucking losing every goddamn game.
I just got the Cthulhu Pandemic and it's great.
I was looking at that.
It's great.
Is that one where there's like you have to manage a disease outbreak in the world? Am I thinking of the right one?
you gotta eradicate there's 4 diseases you gotta find cures for before you run out of cards and the world ends.
And if you ever want a good time, pick up the Plague Incorporated board game, which is just the opposite, where you have to infect the whole world.
Oh, Okay, Lauren, what about you?
My family we always played more card games and stuff. I kind of have a bad history with board games. Like, they kind of give me PTSD a little bit, but they're fun.
Were you a table flipper? Did you start losing and just go, oops, pieces everywhere?
I only flip tables when I'm drunk. No, but like my sister and her friend would be like, all right, Lauren, like, go set up this board game in the basement. We'll come play with you. And I would be down there, have it all set up, and be waiting for like a half an hour. They never come play with me. So, it's a little sad.
No.
But
dicks.
I would have to say, like, I was, I guess, recently introduced to Carcassonne at Ethan's birthday, and it was great. Like, I love it, and I got it. I'm going to play it at my birthday party with my family.
It's
and
like crack.
we also played Zombie Side that night. That was a lot of fun, too.
I'll show up for that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crack made out of cardboard.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. But
there we go. Okay.
Yeah, before my phone just decided to fuck off.
All we heard was like, yeah, it's a great game. It's cardboard.
Yeah, all I heard was, it's cardboard.
Well,
it's
yeah,
cardboard.
it is.
And I'm like, is that code for something?
Yeah, I love living in a black hole with no signal.
So much cardboard.
I got cardboard penises.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
We
what
got
makes
plenty
a
of
great
those.
game, cardboard.
Yeah.
Cardboard. Tucci, what about you, man?
Old favorite, still favorite, Axis and Allies. It was like one of the first really serious board games that I was kind of introduced to. My uncle had a friend over playing, and I was like, what's this? And they kind of explained it to me, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And they're like, yeah. And then like 10 years later, I actually got it, and I still love playing it. I never can find people wanting to play it because it takes so long to set up.
I'll play.
Oh my god, yes.
How long does it take to play, actually?
It could take days.
Oh, really?
It could take
That's a
days.
long ass game.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it really is. Yeah.
It'll be set up by
the
the time we all get there.
Yeah, basically. Well, the setup, if you know what you're doing, takes like 30 minutes. But when it comes to actually playing, it can legitimately take days. And it's all based around World War II
Scythe
versus Allies. Kind of like strategy and different stuff like that. And it all depends on how people handle their faction, I guess.
Okay.
Scythe is much faster.
Someday.
I want to play Scythe so bad.
I know, someday.
Scythe is much faster than Axis and Allies.
I don't mind a slow game, though.
It depends, man. My attention span is like nothing, so it has to...
we'll play Kuwaitan with you.
Okay.
Hungry hippos.
Too fast.
Too fast. Yeah, too fast.
Fast paced for me.
And Drew and Nick, one of you guys are going to have to help me out with the name of this one, but my newfound favorite board game, I have two. Nick, the one that you brought over, the Mission to Mars, and then
Mission Red Planet.
Sorry, thank you.
I still haven't played that.
Oh my god.
Mission Red Planet is great.
It's awesome. Then the other one is one that Drew brought over with the firemen, and you have to like choose whether to break through. Flashpoint. There we go. Yep, those two have like
Flashpoint
kind of like,
was cool.
And
Flashpoint is great.
Ron did mention Arkham Horror, which I'm trying to remember if that's the one that I've played. Aren't there different Arkham games? There's Arkham Horror.
Oh yeah.
I think Arkham Horror.
Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror.
I think it was
Arkham Horror.
Arkham was the first one to come out for board games, like when Nick and I were living together. And that's
okay.
when we played.
I think that's the one that I played, where you basically you're like it's like old 30s adventure time type deal, and then you have to go through and explore the city, and then portals keep popping up, and like the longer you let them go on, the more pop up, and you basically get overrun pretty quickly.
Yep. That, and at the beginning of the game, you draw an old one, and if that old one, like if you don't do a certain task or a certain thing in a certain amount of time, that old one will pop up, and you have to fight the old one.
Okay.
Yep. And there's Arkham Horror, Mansions of Madness, and what was the other one?
Eldritch
Warrior, which is like a global-based game, whereas Arkham is centralized on that one city.
Yeah, I like those three. Those are the three that stuck out in my head.
Yeah.
And as far as board games go, I mean, we kind of like blur the lines between board game, card game, dice game type deal here in just a second. But did I get everyone? Right? I think so. No?
Tucci.
We got Tucci already. He said...
Tucci Nick. Axis and Allies.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Nick. Jesus Christ, man.
He.
Of course. What out of your vast collection is your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Hold on, just a second. Let's start off by saying how many board games you have.
Oh, I don't even know. I lost count.
Okay. All right, you
can't say because people will rob him.
He has a hoard of board games.
It's always expanding because like I have more way, but right now my two favorite are Cosmic Encounter and Time Stories.
I want to play Time Stories.
Here's why. Cosmic Encounter has been around since the 70s, and it's been revamped like 4 or 5 times. There's over 300 alien races.
Oh, that one.
That's not even an exaggeration. I mean, there's 300 alien races that you can choose from. It's a pretty much like fuck your neighbor. Like I'm trying to dominate your planet to the best of my ability. And you
with the little
have,
stacking UFOs.
Yep, exactly. There's stacking UFOs. You can have you can have 3 people win at the same time. It's great. I mean, this is a game you play if you really want to like not be friends anymore. It's fantastic. I love Cosmic Encounter. It's fantasy flight games.
Okay.
Time Stories is very narrative driven. You can't play the same mission twice because, I mean, once you figure out how to beat like one mission, you know how to do it forever. So,
to clarify, because it took me forever for some reason to get this concept as to why you would buy a board game that you can really only play once. But that's the deal with it, isn't it? Like once you buy it, you play it, and then that's it.
Pretty much. Yeah. With Time Stories.
Oh, it's a legacy game.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
You're not like really altering the board or the components of the game, but with Time Stories, it's very narrative heavy, and basically think of Quantum Leap meets Assassin's Creed. I mean,
oh wow,
your characters are on these through time and space, and they go on different missions. Each scenario is a different place and a different time, and so maybe the first one you're going to an insane asylum. The next mission you could be going to ancient Egypt. So each one is different, but it's very, very narrative heavy, and you allies to help you figure out what you're doing and where you're going. And so Time Stories is a very, very good game. It's very interesting. So I highly recommend that one.
Are you just saying basically like the storyline changes, but gameplay and like strategy is the same?
Correct. Yep. So
and there's no like expansion for it, or
technically, like each story is a different expansion. So to give you an example, every expansion is a deck of cards, and each deck of cards is a location. So once you start kind of playing those locations, like I'm exploring this room while Wes is exploring this room, well, that room is a card, and I can't tell him what I'm seeing, he can't tell me what he's seeing, but we can kind of observe them and then report back at some point in time. Every scenario is kind of an expansion in its own way. So every story is different, but the gameplay is almost always the same. So you're making decisions together and you're facing different puzzles together, but the storyline is almost always different.
you guys had brought up a term that I've heard you say before, but I don't think I know exactly what it is. What's a legacy game?
The legacy game, isn't it? Isn't that it's the where you alter the board and you get rid of cards and previous games affect future games?
Exactly. Basically, your actions in the game affect whatever's going to happen in the future. So there's a Pandemic Legacy game where you can actually effectively alter the board, alter the cards by ripping them up or putting stickers on the board or putting stickers on your card. Legacy games are relatively new within the last couple of years, but it's a really interesting and really cool idea because I like the whole idea of like actually tearing apart a card. I kind of cringe, but at the same time, it's like
right.
I kind of like this.
It's like
Once
they made
you finish
those,
a legacy game, for the most part, you can't ever play it again.
Pretty well, yes and no.
For the most part, some of them.
For the most part, yeah. And that's kind of why I'm on the fence about Time Stories being called a legacy game, because you can play it again.
Right, because you can replay it.
Right. But I could like teach somebody else how to do it. But yeah, legacy games are basically, it affects the future of your choices.
Except, what is it? Charterstone is the one that once you've played through it once, it's legacy, but then after that, you can keep playing it.
Right.
Except you've already altered the board. So your particular board game is now unique to you.
Exactly. And that's the same with...
That's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept.
I don't know how I'd feel about it, though. Like, buying a game and then, like you said, like, ripping up cards or...
Dude, I couldn't do it. You drop $60 or $70 on a game and then you got.
I'm just thinking of the, the illegal standpoint where you just make copies of the copywritten material and then you can play the cards again.
Some of them have
there's another
reboot packs that you can start over with.
Yeah, but that costs money.
There's another game that came out, I think it was either last year or the year before that, called Seafall, which is a very pirate-themed heavy game. And that's very unique because it's a legacy game. Every game is going to be different for everybody that buys it because you actually write down the names of your characters on the cards. Like you have your own character card and you write down their names and you kind of give them backstory and you affect the board and so on and so forth. But every game is different.
Next question here. What's everyone's favorite style of board game? And what I mean by that, like miniature based, card based, dice based, strategy, story, etc., etc.
I like miniature games. They're fucking awesome.
I think I like miniature games too.
I have Cthulhu Wars and miniatures are amazing. So
is that the one where Brandon always kicked our asses?
Yeah.
Ron, what about you, man?
No, I like the miniatures and I like strategy games, stuff like Risk or Settlers, stuff like that.
Okay. Tracy, what about you?
That's a toss up between strategy and co-op games. Although I guess with the co-op games, and that my family can't, single me out and gang up on me.
So I think that's the cool thing about board games is that there's kind of like this a culture behind it, like to be really fucking shitty to the people you're playing with.
Oh yeah, but still like totally love them in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is no love in Carcassonne.
There is no love in Carcassonne.
Yeah. See, for me, I do like the miniature games just because I don't know. I'm not really a big miniature guy, like a collector or anything like that, but I do like having like a physical representation of whatever I'm doing, especially if it involves like a board. So that's always fun. For whatever reason, card-based games are a lot harder for me to learn. And I don't know why. And then I like dice-based games because I can relate it back to D&D and shit like that. So I'm really interested in would you say Time Stories? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's a combination between those two, is card game and dice rolling, but it's not really like a card game. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe.
I gotcha. So, Drew, what about you, man? What's your favorite type of board game?
I kind of like all of them. I don't really have a favorite type. As long as it's like fun, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like an elitist where it's like I like miniature games because you get all the pieces, or I like card games because it's easier to pick up. As long as it's fun and it's not fucking $1 million, I'll play it.
Okay. All right. Lauren, what about you?
I would probably say strategy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Being out of tune's back.
Oh, damn it.
I love that that's what made it through.
Tucci, what about you, man?
I don't really know if it qualifies as a board game, but I feel like it should, like Pathfinder and D&D type stuff. Like fully customizable, like RPG, dice rolling stuff like that.
We can allow that. Like you like them to be visual based.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really necessarily need to be visual based, but I like, I guess, complexity in the game personally. Mm-hmm. Like Axis and Allies. That's probably why it's my favorite board, like actual board game, is just because like there's so many different moving pieces to the puzzle that you have to figure out, and you're also, going against people and working with people, and there's politics involved and different stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess I just like complexity in a board game.
You would like Twilight Imperium then?
Okay.
Twilight Imperium is basically Axis and Allies in space.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I probably like that, yeah.
It's about an 8-hour long board.
Oh, damn.
Ethan, what about you, man? I know you kind of said that you like all of them, but do you have a preference?
I really don't, because I guess I'm still sort of new to the whole board game thing with, it's been a couple years, but, we got into Dominion, which was a card building game, and then Carcassonne, and then everything. And so I'm on the same boat as Drew. As long as it's fun, and depends on your mood too. Do you want a fast game? Do a simple card game? Do you want something involved like Scythe or Zombicide? It just depends on how much time I feel like spending that night. If I don't have a lot of energy, I'm going to play something simple.
Yeah.
So I can run the full gambit.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I don't really think that there's any one that I prefer over the other. I mean, I do like miniatures. Like I said before, my attention span is very short.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to put the effort into setting up a miniatures game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like what I said with the card based games and everything. They, for some, I don't know what it is. Maybe it like brings me back to like Magic the Gathering, which I cannot play. Like I like it, and I tried so hard, like to like buy like a booster pack or a deck or something and then play, and then I'd play with Nick and Brandon and Chris and all them, and they'd completely fucking destroy me. So it was just kind of like, I don't know, like there was so much complexity in that, and I'm really shit at regular card games too, like poker and like most of us here are from Michigan. I still cannot play euchre. I've been taught I've been taught like 4 times, and I shouldn't even say taught. I've been shown 4 times, and I don't know. Like, I can't
I don't know
it.
either. I don't remember. I didn't like it.
Shame on all of you.
I didn't like people telling me what to do. I don't like that part.
I know, man. Euchre's serious business in Michigan. Like if you, I don't even know. Like you got like the Jack and the Bauer, and then I think maybe it was the terminology that was getting me. But
everybody's sitting around gnawing on asparagus, playing euchre,
sipping on craft beer. Yeah, that's Michigan
watching NASCAR.
Watch the weather outside change from 50 degrees to 30 degrees to raining, and everything. That's Michigan for you
in one afternoon.
In one afternoon, one sitting, yep, during one fucking card game. What do you guys think goes into making a successful game? Like, what makes it fun?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Ron. Flow. Flow is a wonderful thing.
I think the biggest thing for me is like, is it fun? Like, it doesn't really matter if the components are good or not. Like, I can play with wooden, little pieces and kind of use my imagination as long as it's fun. I think fun is the number one and most important thing in any board game. Because if it's not fun, I don't want to play it again. So the fun factor has to be there. I think ease of like rules and ease of play. Is it easy to teach? Is it easy to play? I think those are another factor. And if it's easy to teach, like if it takes less than, a minute to teach somebody and less than a couple minutes to set up, then that's another factor. But really what it boils down to is fun and how long does it take. So
gotcha.
No, I would definitely agree with all of that. Plus, I look for something that draws me in right away. Maybe not right away. Like, obviously, like you have to have a little bit of a plot build up, but as long as I feel like I'm drawn into the game, part of the game, then I think that's important too.
Well, what does that for you? Is it visually, or is it just kind of like the backstory of the game?
It doesn't have to be visual. Like Nick was saying, I could play with little wooden meeples and it wouldn't matter, as long as like you can kind of get the basis idea of the game right away.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, and the fun aspect too. That's always very important. So as long as I'm having fun learning the game and kind of get into what's going on.
Yeah, I think for me, it's ease of learning. That's probably my number one number one preference. Like, cause I don't know, maybe it's just cause I don't play enough of them, but like I have a hard time latching on to the rules and then determining the strategy of what you can do in order to win the game. Like I don't really play games to win, even though I like winning, but if I, again, it comes back down to fun. It sounds generic, but if I'm having fun while doing it, I don't care if I lose. I mean, obviously I don't want to be like so far behind everyone where it doesn't feel like it's not fun to continue. But yeah, ease of learning is probably my number one factor. And then after that, I do like the subject matter of what's going on in the game. And I'm trying to think of the name of this game that Nick, you'll probably remember this. Is it Gloom? Is that a game with the cards and you had like the characters and then you had to like
it's a really depressing game.
It is, but it was like it was interesting because you had to kind of basically you had to like explain the story through the card that you had or something like that. Like you had to justify what you were doing. Like it was creative.
Yeah, you kind of had to develop narrative.
Yeah. So stuff like that, like Ron, you mentioned like the draw, like what brings you into it. I haven't played enough games to really be able to tell what's unique compared to the rest of them. I guess that's it. The biggest thing is ease of learning, because once I learn it, and it doesn't really matter what the components are to the game or what you do, as long as I'm able to keep up with everyone around me, then I'm okay playing it. You know what I mean? So, Nick, you do a lot of Kickstarter and crowdfunding for board games. Like you participate in a lot of that. What's that all about? Like, is that kind of like the main way that those games are created now, or just tell us a bit about it, I guess?
Yes and no. What's frustrating and what's also nice about Kickstarter is that you have the ease of and the accessibility of certain games and it'd be like with the video game. If you pre-order a video game, you have like access to all this really cool unique content that a lot of other people might not have access to. And it's the same concept with Kickstarter. Is that if you were to back these Kickstarter games, there might be Kickstarter exclusives for the game you're getting. And then when it comes to shelves, 2 years later, you have some pretty cool pieces that nobody else does. And so there's that. The only downside is that some companies, I'm not going to name names, but some companies, they don't need to use Kickstarter because they're so big that their name's already out there.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these bigger name companies are so sought after that they don't need to use Kickstarter. So a lot of smaller companies that are trying to get their feet wet, and they need that Kickstarter support. They don't have as much support as like the bigger names, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does make sense.
But what I do like about it is like Kickstarter are really cool. You're getting things that most people don't have access to. Sure, it's a little bit more expensive, but you're supporting a company. You're getting cool things for the game, and oftentimes you're getting things before anybody else does. But at the same time, a lot of the underdogs kind of go unnoticed.
Oh, gotcha. So, have you ever had any problems? Like, I mean, we had the news article I read about the Robotech board game that they were, or the game that they were starting, whatever, and basically they weren't able to live up to their end of the bargain as far as providing the people who kickstarted it with the stuff that they promised them for doing that. Have you ever run into that?
Luckily, I haven't.
No?
Yeah. I just recently received a copy of a game I kickstarted a year later. I'm a little disappointed in the quality of the game, but honestly, like, I got it, I paid for it, and I still have more Kickstarter exclusive stuff coming to me, so that's kind of cool. But I haven't run into a situation where I had to get my money back or like that. So
yeah,
I know that the Robotech thing had a big issue, and there was like an Armored Core game that was supposed to come out, but because of licensing issues, they had to pull back from that or like rename it.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't run into anything that serious.
I think Kickstarter is a really cool concept. The whole idea of crowdfunding. I don't know. Basically, I mean, it could be used for good, and it can also be abused, I would think. One of the bands that I listened to actually used Kickstarter to fund their album because they wanted to get free of the record label and that whole deal. Right. So that in itself is pretty cool. But as far as board games go and all that, is there any particular projects that are coming out or that are in Kickstarter, in the Kickstarter phase right now that you're excited for?
I know the guys Simon are doing another Zombicide thing, but it's not like Zombicide. It's Zombicide in space. Is basically the next thing they're doing, which is they're beating the horse to death.
Yeah.
But I mean, Zombicide has been, it's big.
Yeah.
And they're doing that, which is, zombies in space, which is kind of cool. But as far as that go, I can't think of anything huge that's come to Kickstarter yet.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end it here. Tonight was weird.
So early.
I know. Well, like, we're like on time. Like, we started on time.
Weird.
We went like, everything went according to schedule. I think it kind of threw me off balance, really. So
I know I don't want it to be over yet.
How dare we do good?
I know.
I'm about to open another beer.
I know, we're like.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could talk about another 30 board games if you want. Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
I have played that.
Oh, I have a.
Totally bring up Ticket to Ride.
Yep.
I was just about to bring that up too.
And if you ever want to pull your fucking hair out, get the Oregon Trail games.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Yeah, talking about games you cannot win.
Oh man, the first time I played it, I think Drew, you brought it over. The first time we played it, somebody died in the second round, the second turn.
Someone died in the.
Oh yeah, I think it was me.
Yeah, like that's when I knew. Like that's when I knew.
I get bit by a fucking snake or something.
Yeah,
right. That game is tons of fun, and plus they have the expansion
fucking
now.
Frustrating.
Was it
the expansion? Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
That thing.
Hunt for food
too. Yeah, I got that one too. That one will
on its own
fucking kill you by itself.
Check out Potion Explosion.
Yeah,
is a game I've been trying to push.
You
I want to get that.
You mentioned that on the last show.
Great.
I think was it last? I can't remember.
That's a great
Not
game.
last
Have you guys
show,
played
the
Small
one
World?
before that.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Small World.
Dope.
So good.
Oh, just picked that one up to where I got it for Christmas too. So
What was that game that we played with Kyle and Heather with the sheriff, and you had to like take turns? Was
Sheriff
that
of Nottingham?
Yeah. Oh my god, that game's so.
Oh yeah, Sheriff of Nottingham's.
Nick, the one that I really want to play that I think it's kind of maybe a newer one you got was the Hunting Dracula one.
I was just about to ask him about that.
Like that I saw that at Barnes and Noble and I was like, man, this is fucking great. And then Nick was like, I got it. I was like, of course you do.
Let me tell you something. Like, I love board games and I almost never flip a table, but that fucking game makes me want to flip a goddamn table.
Yeah. Well, isn't that where like one person is Dracula and the other people have to like hunt him down?
So Drew, did you ever play that with us?
Which one?
Fear of Dracula.
No, I played the Cthulhu one with you guys.
Basically, the whole idea is that it's based off the novel, the Dracula novel. One person is Dracula, and he has hidden movement. Like, he has a little figurine that you don't put on the board because he's secretly moving throughout most of the European continent. And then you have the hunters, who are these different famous figures, Van Helsing, so on and so forth, in the Dracula universe, who are moving from different place to place, Spain, all these different places, trying to hunt down Dracula. And you're trying to collectively, work together and say, well, I think Dracula's here. This is the reason why. You're moving throughout. And if Dracula gets to a certain point, he wins. If the hunters find him and kill him, they win. And I was the hunter like twice. Brandon was Dracula. We won once and lost one. And both times I got frustrated with my teammates because I was telling them, this is the rational reason why I think he's here. Like, there's no other place he could be. Like, and I was ready to flip a bitch because I was getting so mad. Like, no, he went out to sea. He took damage. He's fucking coming back out of sea. He's going to take more damage. He's right here. Like, this is why. And let's fucking attack him. And they're like, well, we should move to here. And I'm like, no. And so Dracula doesn't actually appear on the board until your character lands onto a space where he's occupying.
Jeez.
It's great. That's a great game, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I think that's one that I definitely want to play.
I wanted to fucking burn down like a building because I was so mad. And I don't get like that. I don't get like that with board games, but like that one brings out the rage in me.
Just like Willow remakes, huh?
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Sorry.
Everyone moved past that, and you just brought it back.
Well, I know. That's because we're ending the show.
If you guys want a really good like 2-player game that you can play with your spouse or your significant other,
yeah,
pick up Santorini. Pick up Santorini.
Santorini.
Santorini is basically like a different version of chess.
Okay.
But you have two little figurines or two little computers, and you move once, and then you build a building, and the first player to get to the top of a 3-level building wins. And it's very complex, but it's very easy to teach. Like, it takes about 10 seconds to teach somebody how to play it, but it's very challenging to master.
Yeah, I saw that one on that one girl's Instagram, and I never really kind of picked up on what it was about.
And it's I think it's like Santorini, Greece. Is it in Greece or Rome, where like they have the blue domes on all the buildings? Like that's where it takes place. But basically, you move your guy in any direction you want, and then you build a building, and then you can like climb up those buildings. But the first player to get to the third level of their building wins. And so it's really, really cool. It's really unique.
TT, we should play that because capitalism.
Capitalism.
I'm trying to get my paws on a copy of Sagrada too.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Actually, Miniature has it right now for $40, and Barnes and Nobles, both of them in Grand Rapids, have it for $40.
I actually want to pick up a copy of that.
Yeah, wasn't that the one that like kept selling out within like 3 days?
Yes, actually, no, you're right. Miniature sold out of it again. That's right. But Barnes and Nobles in Grand Rapids has it.
That and Gloomhaven.
I can't afford Gloomhaven.
I'm paying Kevin for Gloomhaven when I'm back.
Oh, I was just gonna tell Nick that speaking of Gloom, they have a Cthulhu version of that.
Yeah, they have a lot of different versions of Gloom.
Really, I've only ever seen the 2.
Yeah, but I was talking about Gloomhaven.
Oh, well, you brought up the name Gloom, so that...
They should do an Addams Family Gloom.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Wes wants to kick us out.
No,
we have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we're right there. So actually, next episode is going to be our last episode of the season, and then we will start season 2. And it's probably going to be more of the same, I guess, but we're, just to block things off and
more shit and shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. We'll try and throw.
Bring it back versus.
Yeah, we'll bring back versus. I think it's about time. But yeah, I think what we're going to do for our next show is we're going to kind of just we're going to get drunk. We're going to get drunk. We're going to wing it, and not really going to have any particular topics, but. We're gonna for a portion of it, we're gonna go over why we like the things we like and how we came to be. Like this will be the TBD origin story that I know you all have been eagerly awaiting. So
how we got our superpowers.
Yeah, how we got our superpowers.
Who has been eagerly awaiting that?
Electric Spider.
You act like they want to know things about
that. That
us.
was like, I don't know. Yeah.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
So
we see you out there.
So yeah, thanks for
I like taquitos and
I like microwave food and
what do you guys like? Beer.
You know, save it for next show, guys. All right. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Good night.
On the next episode of The Basement.
a bushy vagina.